Hello, everyone, and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to show you a super powerful feature within ChatGPT and, of course, GPT-4, where you can ask ChatGPT to pretend to be someone. You can simply ask ChatGPT to pretend to be your teacher, your travel agent, or maybe your cook, and it can give you specific advice based on the person that you are asking ChatGPT to be. So let me give you a few amazing examples coming up next. So let's assume that you would like to travel somewhere and you are asking ChatGPT to pretend that you are my travel agent. Let's go ahead and press enter. It's going to tell you. Might take a few seconds here to come, but basically it's going to tell you, well, sure, I'll be happy to assist you with your travel plans. Where are you planning to go? And then you can simply come up and ask a question. How can I travel from Miami, Florida, US to Toronto, Canada? I tell you, well, there are several ways to travel from Miami, Florida to Toronto. The most common methods of transportation include flying, driving, and taking a bus. These are the flying ones. This is the driving instructions. That's the bus. I hope this information helps you plan your trip. Let me know if you have any other questions or if you need help booking your travel arrangements. Again, super powerful. Let's assume that you maybe would like to know which hotels I should stay in, let's say Toronto, that I can stay in. Well, Toronto is a diverse city with a wide range of hotels to choose from, depending on your preferences and budget. I'm going to tell you quick kind of best hotels in Toronto: the Ritz-Carlton in Toronto, Four Seasons, the St. Regis, there is also the Fairmont, and so on. Okay, let's assume that maybe you asked ChatGPT to pretend to be an expert cook, and you would like to learn how to cook steak at home, or maybe learn the recipe to do Kentucky Fried Chicken as an example at home. Let's go ahead and see if that works. So I'm going to say, pretend that you're an expert cook. Again, this issue happens every once in a while, so let's go ahead and restart it again. And let's give it a shot. So I'm going to say, pretend that you are an expert cook. She's really sure. I can help you out as an expert cook. How can I assist you? How can I assist you? So I'm going to say, well, I would like to cook steak at home. Sure, cooking steak at home can be a delicious and satisfying experience. Here are the general steps for cooking a steak. Choose your cut of steak, prepare the steak, season the steak, preheat the oven, heat up a skillet, sear the steak, transfer to the oven, and then rest as well the steak, then serve and enjoy, okay? And it's telling you to remember that the exact cooking time will vary based on the thickness of your steak. So be sure to use a meat thermometer to ensure that your steak is cooked to your desired level of doneness, okay? Pretty cool. Okay, let's assume that, for example, I would like to prepare, for example, Kentucky Fried Chicken at home. So let's go ahead and give it a try again. So I'm going to restart the whole ChatGPT, and then I'm going to say, how can I prepare Kentucky Fried Chicken at home? It's going to tell you, well, here's the ingredients. You need 8 to 10 pieces of chicken. You need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. You need paprika, salt, dried basil. You need dried oregano. And there's a few as well ingredients. And these are the actual instructions to do that. Super powerful. And it's telling you your homemade KFC is now ready to be served. Okay, let's assume that maybe you are a student, for example, and you would like to leverage ChatGPT to help you understand concepts. And what's powerful, again, which is kind of one of the unique features of ChatGPT and GPT-4 and generative AI models in general, is that it's not just like Google where you can go and just generate multiple pages, so you have to go and scan through it or maybe watch YouTube videos. What you have right now is an encoded specific information that is distilled for your liking. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to basically say the following. Pretend that you are Isaac Newton, and I want you to explain Newton's second law of motion. Certainly. I am Isaac Newton, and I'm pleased to explain my second law of motion to you. And this is simply the second law of motion, and it's explained with examples as well, which is pretty amazing. And I hope this explanation has been helpful to you. Okay, let's assume that maybe you didn't like that answer, and you'd like to explain Newton's second law of motion, but please try it in simple terms. And tell you, well, here is the simple terms. Newton's second law of motion can be explained in simple terms. The more force you apply to an object, the faster it will accelerate. Additionally, the more massive the object is, the more force you will need to apply to achieve the same acceleration. And it's giving you the equation: force equals to the mass times the acceleration. F represents the force, M represents the mass, and A represents the acceleration. Okay, pretty cool. Let's assume that you would like to learn math and you would like to ask ChatGPT to pretend that you are a math teacher. Hello, I'm your math teacher. How can I assist you today? Well, let's assume that I would like to explain Pythagoras theorem for me. And here we go. Certainly, the Pythagoras theorem is a fundamental concept in geometry that relates to the relationship between the sides of a right angle triangle. And it's also giving here the equation c squared equals to a squared plus b squared. Of course, one limitation here is that ChatGPT has been trained on text data. So you won't see basically images here, but I'm assuming for the next generation, possibly for GPT-5 or so, we will be able to kind of interact with it in a lot more interactive way. Maybe we're going to throw videos here for us as well. Of course, the future is going to be bright, and AI will going to be super powerful and super useful tool for us in learning and education. Okay, let's assume that you did not like that answer and you would like to say, well, I didn't get that. Can you explain this as if I am, let's say, 5 years old, please? And here we go. It's going to tell you, well, sure. Pythagoras theorem is like a special rule for right angle triangles. A right angle triangle is a shape with 3 sides and 1 corner that makes a square shape. What you see here is kind of ChatGPT has kind of lowered the tone a little bit, try to use simpler terms, because here it's kind of explaining to a 5 years old. The rule says that if you know how long 2 of the sides are, you can figure out how long the 3rd side is. I see this as useful, powerful, useful tool in education, because you can use it to simplify a lot of complex terms, and it can also help you as well as a professor or as a teacher to kind of learn how to explain something in simple terms or even in complex terms if you like. And that's it. That's simply all I have for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it and see you in the next lesson.